good people? I have the extreme pleasure of welcoming my sister to this show. This is the most intimate conversation that I would have had yet, and I can't think of a better person than to do this with than her. I'm gonna let her introduce herself, but just know that we're going deeper, man, with stories of freedom, stories of striving, stories of growth. And Raven is a pillar of knowledge. And I'm just excited to hear from and learn from her today. So, Raven, can you please introduce yourself to the people?
Okay, hello. My name is Raven, and I rotate through titles. So right now I'm in the season of just being like a creator, full-time lover is just the season that I'm in. I know that rotates a lot. I was a doula, sometimes, but I noticed for me that my seasons rotate. So in this season, I'm just a full-time creator, just working on creative projects all the time, and a full-time lover, which is just spending this year of my life specifically trying to reframe what love is for me. So that's
I love that, Raven, like this whole thing about seasons. And it's scary to do. Just say, nah, like this is the place that I'm aligned with right now. That's where I'm gonna lean. Have you always been guided by seasons and just being comfortable with pivoting, or is it something like new that you're stepping into just to make sure you're standing in your purpose or your intention at a given point in time?
I don't think I've always been guided by seasons, even though like the term seasons is a term that I grew up on, especially being in a Black Christian household. We knew about seasons, like it's a time for good, it's a time for bad. That was something I always grew up knowing. So I knew like we had seasons in our lives of good lives, of good moments, bad moments. But I would not, in my past life, I would not be led off of my intuition, off of my guidance. I would let the outside world affect my seasons. So that looked like me a lot of times betraying myself and staying places that I should have already left. But I'm thinking like, oh, maybe this is just my season of going through this tough moments. I'm supposed to stay here and work it out because, it's my season. And I realized like, hold on, this is not my damn season because I'm really betraying what my intuition is saying. So I am now in a place where I am season led. I know that seasons come, but I'm also intuition led with it. So I'm listening to my intuition truly and be like, okay, yeah, like it's really my season to like sit my ass down. I'm not really supposed to be doing too much. I am supposed to be, I know like right now, oh, it's my season to always create, find stuff to do. But if it's something that's heavy or it just don't excite me, I'm really not supposed to do it. So I'm really practicing saying like, hey, I wish I could, but I can't. And that's really hard for me, but it's what I have to learn how to do.
Yeah, that's you hit a vein, because it took me decades to realize that just like you, I grew up in a Christian household, right? Black Christian household. And a lot of times we hear like this trial I'm going through, I'm supposed to, so that it can teach me something. Or like we were kind of taught to fall in love with pain because it was our season of growth, right? And I'm with you, like more recently, I've realized like I shouldn't be struggling and like I shouldn't be killing myself to get to the other side. Like maybe it's a sign, like you're saying, that I gotta put it down, right? Or I gotta shift. So I think it's super fire that you are, and I'm doing the same thing, that you are practicing that note, right? And practicing saying like, yo, like I got limitations on that this season and I can't fit that in. Super, super fire. And it's not easy, I'm with you. But yeah, I no longer agree that like pain is power. Like when are we gonna have ease? Like when are we gonna have
that's my new affirmation, that I can learn all my lessons without pain. So I really affirm that when something like, because a lot of times for me, I can look back and be like, okay, I've seen situations, or I've seen the chance where I could have left or did it different or spoke up sooner. Because I do feel like I'm a highly sensitive person. So I feel like I'm very intuitive, which means like which has been, you know, a lot of my challenge is being so sensitive to the point where like I read facial expressions like, hold on, did you really mean what you just said? Because your face is saying something different than your words. So being that type of person, I knew times like, oh, I could have left or I could have spoke up or whatever, which would have prevented me from being in that hot seat. So now when I get that first nudge and there's no pain, I'm like, oh, this is the sign where this is like, leave early, exit now, go, like, nah, you getting your signs. And it's like, I can leave now because I don't have to keep doing this when I know that it's not leading in the right direction and that it's going to eventually cause pain. And it's like, I don't have to learn a hard lesson no more with pain. I can learn this lesson now, which it doesn't bring you pain. It brings you sometimes, you know, fear of speaking up and rejection or whatever, but it's like, oh, okay, it's still not pain. So it's learning how to maneuver new feelings. And I feel like that's what I'm supposed to be, is a feeler. I'm like, oh, I'm pretty familiar with all the feelings that a lot of people are afraid to even touch. So I don't know, I wear it as an honor now. I'm just trying to see it different. But pain is a feeling that I'm not trying to feel. So it's like, how can I get around not feeling this, but feeling some other things that still teach me?
I'm with you, Raven. And speaking of pain, like, you're one of the first people, if not the first person I ever heard talk about trauma response, right? And now I am, you know, like, into learning it more and trying to recognize it in myself. But can you break that down? Like, what is trauma response, or what are trauma responses, and how does that show up for us when we're in these situations where we're uncomfortable and we're trying to either protect ourselves or force ourselves through uncomfortable situations?
Yeah, so trauma response is really just how we respond to trauma. And a lot of times, a lot of us respond in a trauma response, and it's not until later we can go back, like we said, through learning, like, oh shit, that was a trauma response. But a perfect example could be in the past, like with criticism. Somebody can give me criticism, and because I was a highly criticized child, I would take something that could be constructive criticism, like, hey girl, it was a typo. And I'd be like, I could take that and respond to it and be like, and just shut down. That could be a trauma response, just shutting down from it. Now I don't want to, now all of a sudden Raven's not posting no more writings on social media because somebody critiqued one writing and that hit a trauma for her, which is being critiqued if you were overly critiqued as a person. And I think that's something now, knowing how in my life, because I'm the person now where I feel like I call my own shit, so nobody can ever call me out. I'm very self-aware, and I know that I have a lot of trauma responses in my past. I'm like, oh, in that moment, that was a trauma response. I did not sit down and process everything, which is something a lot of people don't do because we don't even recognize in the moment what's going on. But once you become aware of it one time, now you can sit down and, like, recently I can say to talking to somebody, like, okay, do you still want to continue this conversation? Because it seems like you're triggered, like you're upset. And if this conversation is too hot right now, we can revisit it. Well, in the past, we're both just going at each other, which is just responding to trauma. Now you yelling, I'm yelling, you can't be heard. I don't feel heard. I never felt heard. So now I'm about to over yell and scream because you got to hear me because I don't feel heard. I've never felt hurt, but you don't feel hurt. And it's just like, now nobody's hearing nobody. And I feel like that's the problem with the world, with society. And I try to, again, that mentality of, you could fix it all, you can save it all, which I know I can't. I try to just go all the way back down home, like, and that was the problem with me. I was not hearing myself, and that's really be the problem on big scales. Like, people aren't listening and hearing themselves, and it's because we're listening and hearing so much, and sometimes it gets confusing of who voices who and what voice is right, and for real, what freedom even looks like, because a lot of us, you know, somebody paints it this way for us, a long time, and I've been in that seat. We're chasing that, like, well, you know, if it looks like this is my freedom, until you get there and you be like, this ain't nothing free at all. Yeah. And so it just all goes down to like, we're just really not listening to each other. We just want to be heard. And that's where I'm trying to also take seats of, I want to really hear this other person, but before I can even hear this other person, I have to hear myself. And I've been saying that a lot in this season to people, losing relationship, or even analyzing, is this a relationship I want to preserve or fight for and move forward? Because the type of person I am now, I want to be in relationship with a certain type of people. I no longer want to feel like I have to question my worth or question, you know, I no longer feel like I have to go give reviews of my messages before I go forth. And I no longer want to feel like, you know, I have to practice in front of you guys before I go out into the world. So I've been really analyzing who I'm in relationship with, and really even asking people, like, do you understand, like, I am not the same Raven. And we all have to mourn her because she's not here. And I think it's been hard for a lot of people to mourn Raven. Not just me. A lot of people are hurt because how Raven has responded without realizing that Raven's a new Raven. And it's shocking because they're like, oh my gosh, how dare you say that? Or how dare you, you know, stand up for yourself essentially. How dare you speak your truth? How dare you, you know, just walk away from all we had? But it's like, because it's a new Raven here now. And this Raven don't want to just be fighting to survive anymore. I want a life of thriving. I want a life, I dream of my life where I am not just in survival mode constantly, that I am just resting and thriving. So to get there, I realized, like, damn, I gotta mourn the old Raven. And it's like, damn, a lot of other people have to mourn the old Raven too, if they still want to be in relationship with me. And even for those who don't, they still have to let go of who Raven was to you. Because if you're not in relationship with this Raven now, you don't know her. And it's been a journey of mourning the old me. It's not easy. And I think a lot of people, for one, even tell myself, like, what we do, this journey of saying, I really want to come home to myself, it's a journey that most don't do. And that's when I had to recognize that this journey is scary and most don't dare to take it. They live in prisons all their lives, pointing their fingers at you. And it's like, yeah, freedom can be something that you're inherently jealous of. But I even view jealousy different now. I view jealousy of a taste or a glimpse of, that's something you can have too, if you want it. I stopped looking at jealousy as like, oh, I want her life. I more so look at it as like, I want that experience. Right. So if I see Black love or whatever, and that's what I did before I got here, before I got with the person I'm with now, I used to see people, and if I had that feeling of like, oh, like, or what some people might identify as jealousy, I stopped taking it as like, oh, I just want their life. Because it's like, you don't know what people are going through behind the scenes. So it's really what I'm seeing, what I'm projecting. So it's really whatever the information I'm giving that image or that moment, because they're only giving us a certain much, but we take that picture. Now we're reading so much into it, and it's really, once you read into it, it's all what you desire. So I just take those moments and I say, obviously, my body, my soul, my spirit is telling me I deserve, and I can get that. So what do I need to do to aim to get that? So it's like, if I know I want to love that is free, that means if I have love around me that's restricting, I have to let it go, because this isn't free love. So once I started realizing, like, damn, I really am the master. Like, it's just moving it. But people always talk about moving it, but they never talk about how hard it is to mourn once you moved it. And that's that part where I'm stuck. It's like, I've moved all my pieces and now I'm mourning them while my new pieces are coming into play. And I just feel like you can't really enjoy your new pieces until you're truly mourned. And mourning takes time, and that is okay. And that's where I'm at. Like, it takes time to just mourn.
Yeah.
It's the whole book of Limitations. I remember my chaplain told me that when I was deployed. She was like, the whole book of Limitations is a book of lament, which is just sadness. She was like, it obviously has to be an important, feeling for it to be a whole book about it. Like, it's just a season of sadness. So going back to seasons, I do believe that there are times where we are just supposed to mourn and shed, and those feelings aren't bad, and it's not nothing inherently wrong. And that's why I stopped looking at like, oh, it's something wrong with me because it's 3 years and I'm still having a hard time. It's like, girl, it's just a journey to get to the other side.
It's just a journey to get to the other side. And you're right, we don't talk about this enough, right? Like, I felt weird for something happening 5 years ago that it's still hard for my body to get over. I still, every single day, I take an antidepressant pill in the morning, and I take one to combat anxiety every single morning. And when I move away from it, I might be okay for like a couple weeks or a month, but I'm always back there. And like, the truth is, like, this is the journey, like, it's not easy. And we can feel, to your point about lament, like, we can feel bliss and sadness at the same time. Like, that's how complex life is. Like, we can have a season of love and still be mourning and grieving other things at the same damn time.
At the same damn time.
We don't talk about it or see it enough. You think it's just you, right? And we get on the defense, like you said, right? And we lash out. But it's because, like, talking about this kind of stuff takes vulnerability, right? And I'm telling you, like, I'm very honored that you're even comfortable enough to share these things that you are, because, you're not owed anybody an explanation, but for you to give us a lens into, like, your process, your healing, your thoughts, it's super fire, and it's not enough of that in the world. So thank you for that, 100%.
And just cycling through those emotions. Like, I listened to something yesterday or a few days ago, because I really been stuck on sisterhood and friendships and the journey of what that looks like and how tough it can be for some people. I give myself grace for that too. I used to beat myself up all the time, like, I cannot keep a friend, I'm such a bad friend. And then I just realized, like, oh my gosh, like, Raven, you would never model friendship, right? Friendship is like, normally the first kids get their essence of friendship from their parents. They get their essence from everything from their parents. It's just attachment. And it's two theories we have. We have authenticity and attachment. And a lot of us grow up where we have to trade in our authenticity for a type of attachment. And that's what I did. Just to get attached, I'm going to trade in my authenticity. And sometimes that leads us with bad attachment styles. So a lot of us will see, anxious attachment, but a lot of us don't have secure attachment. And it takes a long time to get to a place of secure attachment, because secure attachment is something that is supposed to be modeled between infancy and 7 years old. And it's like, I was getting slapped across my head at 7. Like, what the world? Like, I could not speak up for myself. I could not talk back. You couldn't even say, like, the things that my daughter can say to me now, I would not have teeth if I say. And it's crazy watching her say, like, can you please not, I can grab her arm and she can say, like, don't grab me like that. And it's her body. And I really want her to tell, like, can you not grab me like that? Because I want her to be able to model that anywhere. And if she can model that to her mom, the safest place ever, she can model that anywhere and know, like, do not grab me like that. Like, and that's something I'm going to keep instilling in her, in my Black son and daughter, is that you have full autonomy over who you are and what you want to be and how you want to do it. And it's not that you can't teach discipline and structure, because we still do. It's just that letting them know that who they are as a little individual matters, their thoughts, their emotions, their moments, because it's in those moments that we're shaping the people we are today. And that's the biggest moment of why I went through my whole life feeling like I was not seen, I did not matter, I did not have a voice. It's because during those moments, essentially, I wasn't. And it wasn't like overtly like, oh, shut up, you don't matter. But it's just in everyday Black rhetoric in the household. It's just in how capitalism shaped a lot of our families, where your parents are always working, they're not home, you don't really have a deep, authentic connection. So when you start to meet that as an adult, or when you start to dive deeper into connection, and you like, hold up, this is getting scary. How authentic it is, how vulnerable it is. A lot of us retreat, run, and we just don't know how to ask for our needs, because we just were never taught. And I'm on a steady journey of not only doing that, but doing it radically and saying like, this is my space, and something happened to me, right? A lot of things have happened to me, and they changed me, and I do not have to be resilient anymore, because resilient is bouncing back the same. That's for small things, like, getting a flat tire on the way to work or something. But to things that have happened to me, like domestic violence, like rape, like childhood sexual abuse, those things shape me in a certain type of way. And this is how they shape me. And who I am in this moment, I'm gonna love all of her. So that's taking a pill to get through the day. That's some days I don't take a shower, I don't wash. That's yesterday going to, the VA and asking for, start my therapist journey again, even though, I was scared to start that over. But it's saying like, you gotta love yourself in every phase, girl. Like, and a lot of us are waiting to get to our highest self, and the person we're trying to hide, because we're like, oh, we gotta wait until we're this person to get this support. But it's like, no, you deserve it every day. Yeah. Every day you deserve the support, the love. And that's one thing you taught me, and that's one thing I learned in my relationship, that I'm gonna love you while you still mourning, sad, suicidal. Like, my man is like, girl, please, like, I'm gonna love you. And I'll be like, I know this is gonna be overwhelming, so if you want to break up or whatever, you like, what? Like, because I realized that's what doing life is with people you love. That's accepting their seasons. That, hey, my partner going through a season, and I can't fix that season for them, but I can be of support. And this is the strength that I can show up in. And that's something else, just understanding, how can I show up for you? And I can't show up for you like that in this season, but I can show up for you like this. And some of those seasons are more active than others, and that is okay. And just all of us being able, each individual being able to speak up and have that full autonomy, we will be better lovers, better family members, better friends, better siblings, better parents, by saying, this is who I am and this is how I can show up for you. And that's something else I preach to my kids. I teach them early about emotions, and mommy's sad, and these are tears, and I'm hurt. And now my daughter is very emotionally aware. Like, I'm just sad, I'm just frustrated, and it hurts me that I can't figure it out. And I'll be so impressed, and I'm just like, okay, I'm doing it right. I'm doing it right.
You're doing it right. And shout out to love. Shout out to safe love, man. Shout out to enduring love, where you can just be, right? Like, just be. I'm so happy for you, Raven, and you deserve it 100%. And like, that's easy. It's like that's what we need. We need for it to be easy to live and be and heal and cry and mourn. I know what you're saying, sis. Cause and we talked about this song, right? But like, I felt the same way, like my bouts with mental illness, and I'm just be like, am I getting on your nerves? Like, but like, meanwhile, he Googling on YouTube, like, how to like respond to people who are depressed. Cause like, he would say things, I'm like, no, don't tell me it's gonna be okay. Like, don't tell me to like suck it up, But you're right, like, they have to show up differently in different seasons, and the real ones do, right? Anything you want to share about how that feels, like loving, I think you call it a season of being a lover, right? Like, how does that season feel?
It feels good. It's scary at first. It was scary, like, questioning myself, like, is this real? Because I feel like anybody of my experience, I feel like I loved to the capacity that I knew love. I never went into anything like, oh, I don't want to hurt you, of course. So I think sometimes when you go into love again, you could step on old wounds. And that's why I always say, like, love can bring you to the door of mourning, because it's like, oh, damn, first dates again, and finding out, for me, because everything with me is deep, it's like, wow, you know, this is for me, like, it could be something that's going to the mercy room, like, wow, this is our first moment of us going to the mercy room together, and this person experiencing me in this light. And I could be scared, like, do I want to go deeper with this person? Because like I said, it can be scary because that person can leave you, they can turn to a monster, they can hurt you. And then I remind myself to, number one, go off actions, go off consistency, going off what I model, go off, you know, what I'm demanding in my life now, who I am in my life now, to talk that fear away. And then I normally just jump off the deep end. It's like everything radical I want to do. So it's like, babe, let's dance, babe. So it's like, you feel that little nudge in you that's like, just start recording him, you know, talking, because he's talking about something exciting. It's like, oh, and it's like, oh, this is what feeling in love feels like. So it's like, just start singing to him a song. You feel it in your soul. And I feel like that's how true love is. It's like you feel it in your soul, but a lot of times you be afraid to show it because you don't feel safe. But the safer you feel, the more you gonna jump. So I've been in the season of jumping and loving, writing love letters and doing things that I never thought I would do when it comes to myself and safety. Like we rapping in front of each other, like we doing poetry, and it's like, this is vulnerable to me. This is nakedness for me, and I'm showing you like my art. I'm singing, like I'm, you know, we telling these deep stories, and it's like, damn. And what I told myself is, you know, you can't possess it, because people can change and anything can happen. But I'm past those moments, because I be like, I know my man ain't changing. I know we like that. I know we good. But I even think about death, because I've experienced losing people. Like my father, he had a stroke and died, and that was somebody I wanted to build a relationship with. So it's like, even in life, I tell myself jump, because you never know. You can't possess, even if you can't possess them physically, like we can't possess them literally here on earth. So you just never know. So I never want something to happen to this man, or something to happen to me, or anybody who I'm in a relationship with, and that person did not know how much I love them. And I feel like, oh, I should have said, or I could have said. So I'm just like, I'm saying it now. That person would know if something happened to me, or if something happened to them, they'd be like, well, damn, I know Raven loved me. I knew Raven rocked me. Like, that was my dog. Like, she took me pictures. She's silly. I seen parts of her that she didn't show the world. She leaned on me in a way she didn't lean on others. And I could come to her in a way that I can't come to others. And that's what I aim to be, that special person, to just the light that I am to that person. I show up differently to each person. Each connection in my life is different. And I want to be who I want to be in each connection. And in each of them, I'm loving everybody deep. I can't help it.
Man, I love that, Ashay. I'm so happy for you, Raven. Legit real talk, y'all. Load shedding is happening today in Cape Town, and the power's gonna go off any second now. I could talk to Raven all day, man. But I'll close it here at this gym. Raven, I want to have more conversations with you. I don't know, I want to share space with you more and more, and amplify your lessons, not so that you can save everybody, right? But so that you can continue to like process out loud and help other people realize, like, nah, this is what this shit look like. You know, oh, this is this shit feel like, oh, this is okay. Because you're a force, mama. You are a force, and I wish you so much light on your healing journey. I'm always here for you about that.
Yes.
Doing what you're doing, and I love you so much.
Love you too, sis.
Blaze Business Intensive is the 6-week business management course for Black women. Enroll today by going to blazebusinessintensive.com.